Mic check. Mic check. 1 2.
Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2.
Yep.
Mic
gotcha.
check 1 2.
Hopefully the folks over on YouTube
Mic
can
check
hear
1
us
2.
as well.
Hey y'all, can you hear us?
Tweet in, let us know you're hearing us okay.
Can they see us?
Yeah. You know, the last time I messed up and I had the wrong mic situation going. It was pulling from the thing, and everybody's like, "Yeah, it's terrible." They're like, "We can't. Everything's blurry, and it's still blurry." And I apologize for that. But the audio, they're like, "We can't hear you right." And I didn't see it till midway through the show, and totally messed everything.
Hey,
up.
bud, before we start, I need to go get my brown water.
Yeah. Do you think?
Hold on a minute.
You got any for the rest of the class? I don't. Oh, all right, no worries. That's all right. Hope everybody's doing well. We're getting started a little bit late tonight. But you know what? That's all right. I feel like we're doing it retro tonight. That's mine right there.
Is it empty?
It's agua.
Do you drink whiskey and water? I'll share with you.
No, man. No, you okay.
Well, that was easy.
Woo! Shooting that water. That agua.
The person that decided to cheers. The person that decided to gift me with this brown water left, but also took their excess brown water, and so I didn't have any more to offer you.
Oh, nice.
So we'll just share.
That'll work. All right, guys. So we got a great show for y'all tonight. We're about to get started here.
Yep.
And I say we go ahead and do it.
We're ready when you are, Bo.
All right. Welcome to Country Squire Radio. I'm Bo.
And I'm John David.
JD.
Hey, Bo. Good evening, dude.
Man, good evening to you, sir. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing fine. I'm just chuckling because I remembered about 20 minutes ago when you were mimicking my intro into the show.
Okay.
How you doing, man? What's up?
We'll pull the curtain back just a little bit. Yeah. So as part, there's a pre-show ritual that even the folks on the YouTube channel don't typically get a chance to see.
Yeah, typically.
Which is, some last minute kind of, crossing the I's and dotting the T's and all that kind of good stuff. And then there's also me setting up the equipment and then trying to do a mic check. Now, we have different voices. as people might have noticed.
Right.
And so, in an effort to make sure that your levels were coming through, I did my best John David Cole impersonation tonight. And
it sounded more like our friend the judge.
It was the judge. That's what it was.
Yeah, someone that hunts and fishes a lot more than I do.
It was
a good try though.
It was definitely Southern. It was just the wrong
That's
kind
the thing.
of Southern.
Anytime you're mimicking someone's voice, there is that tendency for it to come out as kind of a caricature.
Right.
So it's gonna do that a little bit. And I had someone actually, we're here at the shop. If you've ever been to the Squire, it's a small pipe shop, and I'm the one that is here typically by myself all day. And when anyone comes in the door, the door swings open, the bell jingles, announcing that someone's here. And almost every single time it's me going, "Hey, how you doing? Come on in." And like someone heard me say that about 5 times in a row in maybe a 20-minute period, and they were just like, "Hey, come on in. Hey, come on in. Hey, come on in." And they just like started saying it a bunch. And I was like, man, this is what y'all have to deal with. It's really,
man,
it's really awful.
I was tempted just now to actually jump into my John David, but I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to jump into my impersonation of you. Because the other factor, it's nerve wracking when someone's here for that. It's crazy.
No,
you don't want to do it. You don't want to do it. Keep the friendship alive. Don't mimic your friends. Well, man, we got a lot going on.
Yeah, dude.
A lot going on around the shop and in the tobacco world. What you got going on?
Absolutely. We're really excited for anyone in the central Mississippi area or Louisiana, Alabama, Tennessee. We've got an Ashton Peterson event next week. That's February 17th at 6 p.m. It's a Wednesday. And our friend Vince Jones from Peterson and Ashton will be coming here to the Squire to do a tobacco sampling and tasting. And we'll have some promotions going on that night as well. So if you're around, come on to the shop that night. Free to attend. We'll have some adult beverages and some nice tobaccos for you to try and sample. And so that's exciting. Also here at the shop, we just debuted, which I think we talked about last week on our show, our new raspberry cream tobacco. And we have named this Seersucker, Bo.
Seersucker.
Seersucker. This is
Seersucker.
Are you familiar with what seersucker is?
I mean, I'm assuming it's some sort of like tart treat.
It's a
That's what it sounds like.
It does, right? It kind of evokes that. But seersucker is actually a type of fabric like old Southern gentlemen's like suits are made of. And like you'll see, the blue and white striped suits.
I know
like
exactly what you're talking about.
That's seersucker. Yeah. And this, I'm telling you,
buddy, who got married in one of those.
It happens right down here. So in the South, between Easter and Labor Day, or if you're from society, you say between Easter and the end of August. Then then you are able to legally wear seersucker, but only during that season, because if not, then you're a heretic. But anyway,
right.
This blend just makes me think of that kind of late spring, Easter, going into May kind of season. It's just real fruity, but also light and easy on your tongue. And it was something that, I don't know, just evoked seersucker to me. So
all right.
And because seersucker does, like you said, it kind of it sounds like something that would be succulent, like something that would be kind of a delicious treat. So yeah, we named it seersucker.
It makes sense to me, man.
Yeah, available now on our website, so you can check that out.
All right, so if you look for seersucker right now, you'll find it.
Yeah, it's on our website.
Wonderful. All right, man, that's great stuff. So will seersucker be available during the event?
Yes, it will.
For sampling?
It will, yeah.
Okay.
It's available right now, so if you want to come by the shop at any time, you can try a bowl for free.
Great, man. Yep. That's awesome. Well, hey, also for the people in the local area, I got a little bit of an event going on.
What's going on with you?
Well, so they've got this thing going on. They've got this organization, this group of folks called Team Jackson. We do broadcasts from Jackson, Mississippi, and there's an event going on called I believe it's called State Street Open House or Open Street State.
It's downtown, right?
It's downtown,
yep.
Yeah. So it's a big thing that's going on downtown. Come on out, Jocko's Tacos, 1 block east. Dinner and drinks is gonna be a lot of fun. And then the group's gonna move over to Thimble Press, Coalesce, and that's kind of the area where my studio is now. Not obviously. Yeah. Right now we're broadcasting from the shop, which is awesome, but there is actually a Podastery studio.
Yeah.
Right now it's we've moved in the last month or so, and so if you happen to go to this thing, the open house at State Street, find me. I'll be wearing a Podastery shirt, and let me know you want to come see the studio, because I'll be taking a few folks up to as kind of a tour. So.
And that's this Wednesday night, the 10th.
This coming Wednesday night, yeah. So as this podcast goes out, it will actually be that Wednesday night,
that evening.
That's right. Okay, that's right. So 5:30 that evening. If you're in the local area, I'd love to have you come out, say hey, and connect with you there.
Great. Hey, a couple other things. Today, I would be very disappointed if I didn't get to sneak this in. Is a person who is very important to me and very close to me. It's his birthday.
Oh,
and I would like to wish my father a happy birthday.
Hey, all right.
Mr. Cole is kind of, if I were to describe him, he's not a pipe smoker. And I think his heart palpitated when he learned that I was going to go work at a pipe shop. Uh-huh. So it's something he had to work through, but he's been very supportive. But he's a very intelligent man. It's kind of like if Winston Churchill's intelligence was mixed with like the industriousness of like Genghis Khan, and the looks of Harrison Ford. That would be my dad. So
man.
Anyway, Dad, if you're listening, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Mr. Cole. For those of y'all who are watching live, go ahead and hashtag that. Happy birthday, Mr. Cole. I love that.
He'll be mortified. Hey, Bo, did you watch the Super Bowl last night?
Well, I watched the commercials.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, man. I know that the orange team was playing the blue team.
Yeah.
And I think it was
the orange team and the Seafoam team, actually.
It was a Seafoam?
Yeah.
Okay, I can dig it. Yeah, so the Fire Horses versus the Angry Panther.
Right.
And they were fighting, and while they weren't fighting, then there were some really interesting commercials.
They played like 4 innings, right? And,
right.
and in between the innings, they had some commercials.
Beyonce was there for a little bit. That was cool. But that's about it.
What do you know about Puppy Monkey Baby?
Okay, what is the deal with Puppy Monkey Baby?
Did you see it?
I mean, how could you not?
It was a puppy.
It's a pug
and a monkey and a baby,
right?
With a rattle,
yeah,
that licked the guy on the face.
That was the most disturbing thing I've ever seen in my life.
Okay, I kind of liked it.
You would.
I'm the one person of all the people I've talked to. They're like, I will never purchase a Mountain Dew product again. But you're talking about Mountain Dew because of that. And yes, you probably will purchase a Mountain Dew product. But I mean, if you want to, stay up all night or,
That was some marketing guy who's at his wits end. What are the cutest things that are out there? What do people like? What are people like? Let's look online and see what are the things that people search for the most on YouTube.
Well, and you combine all 3 things. And I guess their idea was like, we're going to make this product that's got 3 awesome things. And well, a puppy, a monkey, and a baby. I woke up this morning saying, "Puppy, monkey, baby."
Oh my gosh.
Puppy, monkey, baby. Puppy, monkey, baby. It was creepy, but I don't know. I kind of got into it.
That for me, there really wasn't.
I feel bad for the baby because whoever's little baby legs that those were on the actual,
they will always be the Puppy Monkey Baby.
They will be the Puppy Monkey Baby.
Yeah,
let's be glad that it was the pug's face and not the baby's face.
Right. Well,
Let's just hope
someone's
parents did that to them.
30 years from now, that exact same child actor is cast to reprise the role as puppy, or I guess dog monkey man.
Dog monkey man?
I think that'd be, let's do it. Let's make that happen. You know what?
Dog ape man, right?
A lot of folks actually watching the Super Bowl, smoking some pipes, and then some pictures, which was really great. Were you puffing on your pipe during the Super Bowl?
I wasn't. I was over at a buddy's house, holding his infant daughter, and so during the game, trying not to yell and scream bloody murder in between sips of beer and cradling this sweet baby. So I did not smoke my pipe. No.
Okay. Well, I'm just curious.
But yeah, but the pipe was puffed over the weekend, and right now I'm actually enjoying. What is this? This is a Syrian Super Balkan from McClellan.
Super Balkan for the Super Bowl.
Oh, the Super Balkan.
It practically writes itself.
That's terrible. It's funny. A customer bought this, and I didn't really know much about it. It's a McClellan tobacco, but a customer bought this thinking, oh, it's Super Balkan. I bet that's just loaded with Latakia. And this is a Latakia smoker. So he smoked it for about a week and then brought the rest in, and he said, dude, this is nothing but red Virginias. And he brings it in and is just like, you have this. And so I've been smoking it, and like you can taste the Latakia in it, but man, that's just like with the description on the back here, I'll read it. It says Syrian Super Balkan pipe tobacco. Again, this is a McClellan product, a lavishly flavorful Balkan blend using the finest dark, fragrant, cool smoking Syrian Latakia with seasoned top grade Louisiana Perique, rich and mellow.
Yeah, let me this.
Dude, I'll be really honest. Like, that's a delicious Virginia blend. Like you can smell the Latakia in the background a little bit. The Latakia taste is extremely light. Based on the description of that tobacco, I never would have bought that just because I don't smoke a lot of Latakia and anything super bold. But man, that's just a rich, good kind of Virginia blend.
It's got that
tasty.
How does McClellan how do they always have that exact tin note?
It's witchcraft.
I mean, the most diverse tobaccos in the world. You open up, you can always catch that little McClellan tin note.
Mike and Mary McNeil wait until the McClellan factory closes down, and they usher out all the employees, and then they pull out their little fairy bag, and we don't know what's in that bag, but whatever's in it is what gives it that smell.
Yeah, that's great.
And we were very thankful for that bag.
Well, look, we're all about the tobacco tonight because tonight we actually have a great topic for you. We're going to be talking about how to revive old, dried up tobaccos.
Yeah.
Now, if you're like me, you enjoy pipes, you enjoy pipe tobacco, but you don't get to smoke it nearly as much as you want to, which means is that as you accumulate tobaccos, sometimes, if not packaged correctly, and even sometimes if packaged correctly, they just get old, they get dry, they're not a quality smoke anymore. So the question I suppose to start off with is, do you toss it out, or can something be done about this old and dried up tobacco?
If you decide to toss it out, you need to send it to 1855 Lakeland Drive, Jackson, Mississippi, and we will gladly take it off your hands. Look, dried out tobacco is kind of this conundrum, right? And you nailed it, Bo. Like, as pipe smokers, a lot of times our addictiveness to purchasing and sampling new tobaccos outruns our ability to smoke these tobaccos.
My mom used to call it, when eating, your eyes are bigger than your stomach.
Yeah, bigger than your belly, right? So you're constantly buying new things and winding up with all this leftover tobacco. Now, if you put it in the proper, like, let's say you jar it up, or put it in some kind of container that's really going to take care of it. Obviously, we've talked a lot about this on air, and I'm a fan of the little pint mason jars. But if you haven't done that, then your tobacco eventually is, probably going to get kind of crispy and might have the consistency of pine straw.
Yeah, that's about right.
So then there's that question: do I take these 5 pounds of this tobacco that I've been collecting over time, and I've sampled about half of this and a quarter of that and one bowl of this, and do I throw it out? Do I try to bring it back? And man, tobacco can almost always be brought back. It's one of those things that, will it have the freshness that maybe it once did? It depends on the tobacco, I think, on that. But some of the aromatic tobaccos particularly, I think, are a little difficult to bring back because the aroma, literally can escape the tobacco leaves. Think about like a Yankee Candle or something that's been unopened up, and eventually just kind of loses its scent. But a lot of the other blends you can.
So let me ask you, John David.
Yeah.
What must tobacco do to become saved?
Wow. My son. My son.
Live up to your name and tell us how can this tobacco become redeemed?
Well, if the tobacco is totally depraved, which of course
is,
it is, right? It's a completely depraved tobacco. So, the tobacconist or the person that's smoking the tobacco chooses to revive the tobacco.
Okay. So the tobacconist actually makes the decision.
The tobacconist makes the decision.
The tobacco can't really decide for itself. It's tobacco.
It's dead tobacco.
Without the tobacconist, it's just going to sit there and rot and die.
It'll sit there and do what dead tobacco does, which is just be dead.
For those of you unaware, we're dropping some theology on you right now. But anyway,
yeah. So the smoker chooses to make the tobacco revive, and then once the choice has been made, then the smoker breathes life back into the tobacco.
All right, now seriously, let's get into the practical application here, preacher.
So what you've got is tobacco that is crispy for the most part. There are different levels of being unavailable to, or different levels of dried out tobacco. So you've got some that are just a little dried out, some that could just use a hint of moisture, and some that just really do have that almost sawdust powder pine straw type of thing going on. So you kind of have to figure out where you're at. A few quick fixes that are often options for you, depending on the level of dryness that your tobacco has. We've talked about it a lot on air, but you can actually spray the tobacco with water. Okay, now this is the number one thing that I'd kind of point you to do if the tobacco is very, very dry. Now, you don't want to do this if your tobacco has really any moisture left on it at all.
Right.
This is a thing you get to if your tobacco is just dust, And when I say spray it,
right.
I'm talking about like you're putting it on a paper towel, spreading it out very thinly, and then kind of misting it at a
more like a spritz.
You're spritzing it, yeah. And even that you want to be careful with. Always go on the lower side because you can add more as you want to. Toss it together, kind of let it sit a little bit, and then try it again if you need to. But that's kind of option one. Another option a lot of people do is they will take a shallow bowl, almost like a saucer or something, and put your tobacco in that, and then cover it with a hot terry cloth that's been wet. Yeah, and it's best in this case if you use distilled water. Really, in any of this, it's best if you use distilled water because the regular water can tend to mold. But if you'll take a hot terry cloth or like a kitchen towel, kind of think like a kitchen rag or something like that, and then place that over the bowl, kind of a shallow bowl of the pipe tobacco. Let it sit. You might let it sit for like an hour. Go in there, toss it, mix it around a little bit, and then repeat the process. Kind of re-wet that rag and maybe heat it up again in the microwave or something. And then put it back on there and do that a few times, maybe over a few hour period. Take a Saturday or something where you're at home and have the option to do that. And that can kind of bring it back if you've got a large batch that's kind of in that direction.
So even taking like a Saturday and doing this repetitious times.
Yeah.
Surely, well, let's go back to the spritzing thing. Cause I feel like that's something that like, anybody gotta get the concept, right? You get a little spray bottle, you put water on it, you go after it. Do you immediately start smoking it, or do you let it sit?
I let it sit. You always want to let it sit. Anytime you're putting really wet tobacco in your pipe, that does things to your pipe, obviously. But the excess moisture will evaporate, and the idea is you want that to go ahead and do that, so you can put the really the finished product. You want it to get to the point where it's kind of as it was when you purchased it again, and that's that level of moisture that's just not over the top. A lot of times they'll sell these pipe tobaccos between, like 10, 15, to maybe up to 20% humidity, just depending on the amount of, moisture that they want in a certain blend. But that's kind of what you're shooting for. And again, if you have a pipe tobacco that's already pretty moist, you don't want to introduce any additional moisture directly to the tobacco at all, which can have some other options too. We'll get to in a minute, but so the spray method is probably out for that. That really is when your tobacco is very, very dry.
I mean, you're looking at a fire hazard in your house when it's that dry.
Yeah. A few other like quick options, and we have talked about some of these before, but there's a lot of folks that will use the little humidifier discs. Actually, Yeah, we have the little humidifier kind of pouch button that I
Yeah.
call it, the little pouch humidifier.
Quarter size.
Yeah, it's a little quarter size silver disc. It's got a pumice stone inside this thing.
Okay, say that again. Pumice stone.
Pumice stone.
Okay.
Yeah, and basically it's just a little stone that absorbs moisture. And what I do is I'll drop this disc in a little cup of distilled water, and then let it soak for maybe 30 seconds. Pull it out, wipe off the outside really good, kind of shake the excess water off, and then wipe it off really good. And then you're going to drop this inside your bag or pouch of pipe tobacco or your tin. The only problem with this method occasionally is that it has the tendency to moisturize only the tobacco right around the disc. Okay. So if you do this, you almost have to kind of deliberately go over there and shake it up occasionally, and to move the disc around. And you might even then like want to open it up occasionally, set this aside, maybe even recharge it with more water, and then toss or mix the tobacco with your hands around some. So that's an option for you. A lot of folks also will take like a cut up unused sponge and do the same thing. Get you a sponge, just like something you buy at the store, and do it with distilled water and wring it out really good, and then put it in there.
Man, that's the that's the old Walmart fix right there.
It just doesn't seem right. It just doesn't seem right. But some folks will do that. Another option that people do, and this kind of has a pretty hardcore following, and I tell you who tells me most about these kind of things are the really old, grizzly 40-year, like people that have been smoking pipes for 40 years and just want to get it done. What they do is they use fruit. And I think this is interesting. So you'll take a bag, your pouch or tin of pipe tobacco, and you'll open it up and either put a piece of apple in the tobacco, or a lot of folks will use orange peels, like orange rind, just the peel. You don't want to put the orange in there. Some people will even use a potato, which I thought is interesting. And I've had a couple customers that
That's
have come
odd.
and said that.
I would think a potato would absorb moisture, not
something about an uncooked potato. If you put a slice of that in there, will eventually, and again, you want to be careful with this. You have the possibility of the moisture just collecting in one area, so it's something you'll want to check pretty regularly, maybe even at the first little bit, over a couple of hours, and toss that tobacco around pretty good and make sure it's there.
Man, I'm thinking that's kind of, how does that not flavor the tobacco though, right? If you go that route.
Yeah, I think with the apple and with the orange, you definitely run the risk of that at some point, which, to some degree, depending on the tobacco, might be a great thing.
Yeah. I'm kind of curious to try that out.
Potato though, like, I don't know. No. I've never tried the potato, and I don't know, is a
sweet potato maybe.
Is a potato strong enough to like actually flavor it? I don't know. I will say though, my favorite all-time method for reviving pipe tobacco is something that I haven't mentioned at all. And I hope and I think our friend Russ is listening from Savannah, Georgia. But he learned me this, Bo. He learned me this lesson.
Yeah,
and it's a very good one. And we've talked about it before. I looked him in his eye when he told me this, and I called him crazy. And now I do it all the time. But take your pipe, even if that tobacco is just as crusty, dry as it can be, and man, put it in your pipe. And as you're loading it, with each pinch you put in your pipe, just breathe gently over the bowl. Kind of breathe into the bowl, and just the moisture from the condensation in your mouth will actually be just enough to get that right where it needs to be. Some tobaccos, you buy them, and they're already kind of in that dry state like that. I know our friends at Cornell and Deal are kind of known for that. You open up their tin, and their tobaccos are kind of dry, and that's how they're sold. And like, if you need to add some moisture to it, you can. But and our folks at Peterson as well, a lot of their tobaccos too, in Ashton, are going to be a little dry when you open the tin. But this is just kind of part of it. And a lot of folks prefer tobacco that's got some of that dryness to it. And so the opportunity there is when you load your pipe, you can actually add moisture at the time of smoking, right when you're about to smoke your bowl. So if your friends look at you crazy because you're breathing directly into your pipe bowl, like you're blowing into a tuba, then let them think you're crazy, because you're going to enjoy your smoke.
Well, let me ask you this, because I remember early on in our friendship, like maybe like the second time we ever hung out together.
Oh, wow.
It might have been after that, but I remember I had just come back from Italy, and I brought back with me
Oh yeah.
this Italian tobacco.
Oh yeah, that
And
stuff was like foul.
I was terrible.
Yeah.
And no offense to our Italian listeners, of course. I'm sure that there's many great Italian tobaccos.
No, absolutely.
This one could have been made from the briar. I mean, like shaved off the briar or something like that.
Right, right.
But it was a vanilla tobacco, which I'd asked for chalk. You know, I'm not even going to go into it. There was a language barrier, and it was my fault. I'll just go ahead and put it like that. But one way or the other.
I can see you trying to speak Italian right now. Like, the tobacco, it's so good.
Dude,
is that what you did?
Why do we always do this when we go out of the country? We try to speak in English in the accent as if that's going to translate.
As if that's going to help, right?
It is to split the wine. How you say?
We might as well be speaking Pig Latin.
Right.
Like, at that point, it just doesn't, right. Yeah, that's fantastic.
But the thing is, all right, so I brought this back and everything else, and I told you about it, and you said, oh yeah, at some point, you know, bring it by the shop, so like to revive it, and so I did. I gave it to you, and you kept it in the humidor. I don't know if you did some other stuff to it, but I know that we kept it in the humidor for like months.
Yeah, long time.
And it didn't save the taste of the tobacco, but it did bring it back.
It did bring it back enough to where you could, I think, enjoy it while you're smoking it. Yeah.
So there's different schools of thought as far as using humidors and tobacco. What do you think about that?
There is humidors, and I've kind of progressed on that a little bit. I would tend to, tell you not to put it in a humidor. And the reason for that is, particularly if you've got cigars in your humidor, it's just not a good idea. The flavor is going to bleed over, and it really needs to be at a different humidity anyway. With pipe tobacco, to get it back to smoking condition, you really need closer contact with moisture than that. And I think, personally, I think more intense moisture under a smaller amount of time. And so, to put it in a humidor for months and months and months, like, that might help it to some degree, but I think it's much more effective just to, do a direct application or a much closer application. Something like we would have done, like if we would have taken that wet terry cloth with some distilled water, or even sprayed some of the tobacco with water. I think your tobacco is probably too moist to do that with. But also things like the apple trick kind of, could have helped with that as well.
Probably so.
Yeah.
Probably would help with the flavor, all things.
And honestly, like a great place to start if you're not sure, is the little pouch button. We sell them on our website at thecountrysquireonline.com. You can get them elsewhere, but that little tobacco pouch moistener, you just soak with a little, distilled water and then throw in there. That's kind of a safe place to start. That at least with that, you're not doing any irrevocable damage to your tobacco.
I'm sorry, irrevocable?
Yeah, I think I said that right.
All right.
Did I say that right?
I've never heard that word before.
I'm gonna write it in my Moleskine journal. And that, my friend, is how you save depraved tobacco.
Love it. I love it. By the way, the second that we started going to that bit, Twitter exploded.
Did it just explode?
Loved it. Loved y'all.
I'm just saying that the tobacco has trouble reaching out on its own. So the tobacconist or the smoker is gracious enough to bring it back to life, and and then it is imparted with the dignity of the smoker.
I can't believe this is coming from me, but on behalf of our Armenian listeners, we'll give it a rest.
Right. Okay.
Although somebody did do #tulip tobacco, and I think there's something there. I'll leave it like that, but I think there's something there. Well, I'll tell you that there's something there, and there's also something here, and that is amazing pipes, including, man, at the shop. Y'all actually sell some great pipes from Missouri Meerschaum.
We sure do.
Now, Missouri Meerschaum, excellent company, as you know. They do sponsor the show, and we've got a pipe that is specifically sponsoring this episode, and that is their freehand.
Oh, man, I love those things.
Dude, all right. So, I think I was last episode, I believe it was the not the General, but the Patriot.
Yeah. That
I mentioned was kind of like when you see it, it's a Missouri Meerschaum.
Yeah, that's kind of what it's in your mind. You're thinking, Missouri Meerschaum pipe.
It's a unique, it's special, man. In many respects, the freehand is this as well. I mean, it's a gorgeous pipe, kind of that. I think kind of a long corn cob, maybe about like half that corn cob, but it opens up. You know what I'm saying? Like it's almost kind of like a funnel. What would you call that shape? Actually,
well, it's a freehand shape. So think about a pipe that obviously has the exposed plateau on the top of it and the bark that where the carver has really tried to leave that natural beauty on its own, and then try to do that in your mind with a corn cob. And there's your freehand corn cob pipe from Missouri Meerschaum. We've sold them here at the shop for years, and they're beautiful.
Man, yeah, look, gorgeous pipe. We'll also have a picture of it in the show notes. Be sure to check it out. And for those of you who are rocking a freehand corncob pipe from Missouri Meerschaum, this week, take selfies of yourself, smoke that pipe. This is the time. Send those pictures in. We'd love to retweet them and let them know. So we really appreciate you guys for taking those pictures, shopping those pipes from Missouri Meerschaum, and of course, helping make the show happen.
That's right.
All right.
This tobacco is really good.
Yeah,
it's really good. I'm telling you, I wouldn't. I mean, I'm just saying that our regular listeners know me well enough to know I probably wouldn't buy something that says Syrian Super Balkan because it's just not my wheelhouse.
I feel like we missed an opportunity with Super Balkan and Super Bowl. I'm just saying.
Yeah, we can play with that. But man, that stuff is good. Golly.
Pipe question of the week this week is brought to us by Orlick Golden Slice.
Ow!
Man, got a little tobacco trivia for you. This is really great. For quite a long time, the back tin label actually read Virginia tobaccos with a touch of burley due to a simple error in translation. Fortunately, that's actually been fixed, and now everything is correct. But it's interesting that originally the description was off.
Was incorrect because of, I guess, the Danish to English translation.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's the thing. When you're talking about tobaccos, you're talking about an international history.
I love that.
And the great thing is, with the Scandinavian Tobacco Group, the folks at Lane, and this wonderful Orlick Golden Slice, it has that rich history of shipping around the world and having moments like that where it's lost in translation. I would like to propose something to you.
Yeah.
Because Orlick Golden Slice is one of these tobaccos that's really good when it's aged. I mean, it's excellent right out of the tin, but at the same time, it's really, really good when it's aged.
Yeah.
That orange slice deal,
you could almost make a hole in the space-time continuum by doing that.
I kind of want to try that
because you think about Orlick, it's already got the citrus notes to it, particularly orange, and that could be fun.
Dude, check that out. Try that out. If you ever done that, let me know. But I think I might actually try that out and see. So we appreciate Orlick Golden Slice for helping bring this segment to you. Pipe question is coming in from Mario, who writes, if I wanted to add whiskey or rum to a flavored pipe tobacco, what kind of container would you recommend for mixing? And do you have any ratio method tips or tricks? He also makes note that he is working with mostly Cavendish and just a touch of Burley. What do you think?
How much does the tobacconist reveal of his trade?
Well, that's the thing, man.
Right? Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of theories on this, as far as adding flavors to your tobacco. One thing about Cavendish, and you've got to consider, your Cavendish is already moist. It's already a tobacco that, typically almost all the Cavendish you can buy on the American market just as a consumer is going to be flavored with something or certainly already moist. And so to add whiskey to that is going to probably not be particularly effective because it's one of those things where your Cavendish cannot absorb any more moisture. It's just, simple, just the idea of it's already wet.
Sure.
So
there's a maximum.
It can't really take on much more flavor than it already has. And a lot of already flavored tobaccos are kind of like that. So you have to experiment with that. Leaves that I think are, more prone to, being able to accept some of those flavorings or things like Virginias and particularly Burleys. Just a really versatile tobacco. People always knock on Burley. It's the tobacconist's best friend because it's super forgiving. It is so rich and it adds a lot of body and volume to a smoke. And it's really good for marrying and flavoring different tobaccos. So, I might start with something like that. You've got a lot of different, schools of thought on this. I've got some customers when they go home, they'll actually get a huge bowl and kind of get a spray bottle and actually spray the tobacco with their choice of whiskey. So, and at that point, just pick out your favorite brand, kind of pick out your favorite, whatever that is of whiskey and just kind of go to town. With each squirt of whiskey that you're putting on that tobacco, squirt of whiskey.
I don't think that's the correct term.
With each spritz of whiskey,
splash
or splash of whiskey, with each splash of whiskey that you add to your tobacco, keep in mind you need to mix it extremely thoroughly, and the moister it is with each splash, it's got to be dried out longer. And so this is something where you're not again just gonna load it up with whiskey and then put it in your pipe. It's got to sit in there a little bit. And dry out. So a lot of times what people will do is they'll put it in a jar and then seal it up really, really tight. Think mason jar or some kind of jar with a really tight hasp lid on it. And then let it really sit in there and marry for maybe a couple weeks or something. Come back to it, and then open that jar up and let that stuff dry out for maybe 24 hours, maybe even longer than that, but enough for that just to really breathe. And you might even take it out of the jar and kind of spread it out in a thin layer just to accelerate that process some. But your tobacco really does have to dry out some. So those are some options for you. If you've ever thought about getting more sophisticated, a lot of folks will make like a simple syrup. Think the kind of syrup you might make like an old-fashioned cocktail with, or a mint julep or something.
So just sugar and water?
Sugar and water, but you might introduce some whiskey to that as well, and then kind of play with that with your tobacco leaves too. So anyway, just some options for you without going too much in depth as to what I may or may not do here at the shop. But I hope that's helpful.
I love it because it reminds me of something that's top secret that we won't talk about, but something, when I was reading his pipe question of the week to you, it reminded me of an inspiration that we had last week before going live to something that you may apply a similar
that's right. Yeah. We talked about that.
Yeah. But that's all I'll say about that. Great question, Mario. I know that's so terrible, but until you decide to pull the trigger, I hate to jump the gun.
Now you're just putting pressure on me.
I know that I don't
that's
hate
the idea, right?
If I didn't do that, we wouldn't be here today.
Right.
Well, look, we really appreciate this question, Mario. And if you've got a pipe question of the week, send it in, csr@podastery.com. All right, man, the day has come. Here we are at last at the tail end of Morton Sendevi's Quickfire questions.
Is this it?
This is it. This is the last one, man.
Golly, it's incredible.
I can't believe it.
Hey, it's been some really good ones, though, like stuff I never would have thought of.
I feel like Morton has been here with us every single week. You know what I mean? Like, he's been a presence on this episode. Just saying, like, that's...
It's almost been like our resident bard.
I mean, seriously, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's here. He's here. Morton, you're with us, buddy. At least you are. One more episode, and this is it.
Yeah.
All right. The final countdown. You ready?
All right, bring it.
North or South Pole?
South Pole, because it's a continent that you can stand on.
North Pole because Santa Claus.
Okay.
Seriously.
Okay. If you want to go there, that's fine. I'm just saying, like, H.P. Lovecraft novels are set in Antarctica.
Is that right?
There are penguins there. Like,
there's like old gods underneath the water.
South Pole.
Cthulhu.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying.
You choose Cthulhu over Santa Claus.
Over Santa Claus, yes.
Fair
like
enough.
maybe 8 times.
I'm shocked, but all right. All right. So if you're boating, would you prefer sail or motor?
Sailboat. I think that goes well with pipe smoking. Think Albert Einstein. Do I know how to do either? No.
I would push back on that and say that motor also goes well with pipe smoking. Think, sitting in the you got your little motor, your little trail motor going.
Yeah, like a trolling motor
and smoking your pipe while you're fishing.
Okay.
I'm going to say sailing as well, though, because I like the idea of sailing, although I have no earthly idea how to do it.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah. But I wish that I did. That'd be cool. Led Zeppelin or Deep Purple?
Led Zeppelin.
You got to get the lead out.
I love Led Zeppelin.
Yeah. Without question.
Yeah.
It's good. And then finally, Captain America or Captain Crunch?
Captain Crunch.
Of course you would choose Captain
Of course
Crunch.
I would go with Captain Crunch.
You think Captain Crunch is a member of the Avengers?
He's a member of the Avengers. He's like the most important one. He starts your day out crunchy and fabulous every morning.
You probably think he's the leader of both the Avengers and the Justice League.
I'm just saying, with him and Gumby and Darkwing Duck on your side, evil can't stand a chance, Bo.
Had that been the case, I'm sure that evil could not stand a chance, and that would be a movie that I would pay money to see. However, no, of course I'm choosing Captain America. And this new film, man,
he hates me so much,
dude. Hang on, did you see the trailer though for the upcoming during the Super Bowl? The Captain America Civil War.
No, I actually don't think I did. I don't think I did.
So good.
I saw that one where Hulk was like drinking the Coke.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah. But no. This was it's a whole thing. They got the heroes are going up against each other, which it doesn't matter to you because you don't even know who the heroes are.
Oh, that's great. Just tell me when Mega Man comes up.
Morton, man, thank you so much. You've put us through these last months and months of questions.
Yeah, we've had fun with those. They've been great.
Yeah, man. So thank you for doing that. But hey, that means we're wide open. We do have a couple on the horizon, but hey, get your quick fire questions and send them in.
That's right.
CSR@podastery.com. All right, man. Listener feedback this week. We got a great listener feedback. We actually got one from iTunes. This comes from.
Yikes! I'm making all kinds of noise.
Sorry, I'm sorry. No, that's good. This comes from Cochinito77.
Cochinito 77.
Right on.
Would you like me to? Are you reading?
No. I got this.
Okay,
one.
go.
He says, awesome. First of all, let me say this podcast is just awesome. Not only full of entertainment, but also very informative. Fellas at the Country Squire are paving new grounds here. Cheers from Ralphie.
Man,
Ralphie.
Thanks so much, brother. We're glad you found us and enjoy it. Next one comes from YouTube, and it's MGV Squared. He says, or she says, I'm incredibly impressed you guys got my name right the first time you said it. Most people don't. I knew I liked you guys for a reason. Thanks for the informative answer, Mark
VV.
Right.
Awesome.
Yep.
It never happens, by the way. So that is a rarity.
Yeah, it's very rare when we actually don't butcher someone's complicated name or not complicated.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I will butcher simple names. All right, so this next one is actually kind of interesting. This is an email that we got that was addressed to both of us, but it's like a double segmented email.
Okay.
Should I read the one that's intended for you and you read the one that's intended for me?
Yeah,
or should I read the...
Let's do it that way.
Okay,
let's do it that way.
You go first.
I'll read yours. As he says, this is from Scott B. He says, Bo, just a quick note to let you know, I too asked at the cigar shop in Caesar's Palace if it was okay to smoke a pipe back in May when I was there. This is in Las Vegas, I'm assuming. And the answer was yes. Sure, I guess so. But they certainly were not accustomed to too many pipe smokers stopping in. We ended up not staying too long and moved on to a different location. That is very interesting.
Well, it's a cool place. They just need to be a little bit more welcoming to pipe smokers, which means that pipe smokers need to represent a little bit better in Vegas.
Yeah.
I kind of take it as the pipe smoker is a little bit more classy than to be in Vegas all the time.
This is the thing. Like, pipe smoke, we're frugal people, right? I mean, we tend to like kind of be penny pinchers. So I don't know. Are you going to Vegas to like? Are pipe smokers often in Vegas? I mean, we have several good friends that are from Vegas.
I mean, I'm there like once every other year or so.
Yeah,
but I mean, even that's. I mean, there's a pipe smoking convention in Vegas.
No, I mean, no, there's and it's huge, and it's huge. Yeah.
So all right, so this is the thing. This year, pipe convention in Vegas. All of y'all going. Y'all represent. Y'all head to the.
No, you have to go to Caesar's Palace and tell them, give them the old what for?
Calibrate them, folks. That'll be good. All right. He also says, John David, I too am not a fan of the paneled shank or less even of the paneled bowl look, with one exception.
Good man.
For my 50th birthday, I got a special bulldog made by Scott Thiele, who did a great job personalizing my pipe for my birthday. Love the show and still planning my Country Squire pilgrimage, perhaps bringing other members of the Greenville's Upstate Pipe Society with me. Cheers, and that's from Scott B. Yeah, man, absolutely.
Man, that would be great. Yeah,
Greenville's Upstate Pipe Society. I got to remember that.
Love to see a picture of that Scott Thiele that he made for you. Actually, that is really awesome. Yeah, like we talked about, I'm such a kinetic kind of tactile person. I don't even know I might be butchering all the actual language of these words, but it's important to me the feel has to be right. I can look at a pipe all day and like, man, that's a beautiful pipe. I would never own it. And the reason I never own it is because something about the feel in my hand just wouldn't be right. And something about those paneled sides or shanks or anything like that kind of throw me off. But man, I'm glad you found one that's a good fit for you.
Any tweets coming in during the live show?
We've got a bunch of really good ones.
Man, y'all have been active tonight.
Like you mentioned, a whole host of things related to our kind of sly commentary.
Hashtag tobacco tulip or tulip tobacco. I don't know.
I don't. It's out there. Yeah,
and it's predestined. Whichever one goes first.
It is. Yeah. Portland Paul says he. Let's see. Portland Paul says that K Mosher 85 is a pro at reviving dried pipe tobacco.
Oh, right on.
Which is good to know. He also says that he soaked a new sponge on top of a tin in a 9x13 casserole dish with cellophane over the top, and because it's just got more surface area for it to bleed into. So that's handy. He says, let's see, who else do we have here? David Piper at Tobacco Pipe Dave on Twitter. He says, I use a Tupperware 2-compartment container, one side with a cotton ball soaked with distilled water, and the other side tobacco. That's a good idea. So you've got it kind of segmented just naturally in your Tupperware container. You know, those two side containers that you might send like a kid to lunch with or something.
Yeah.
So you put the moistening device, I guess, on one side and your tobacco on the other. That's a great idea. He said, let's see, what else do we have?
Got one from Brian Levine who says that my way to add flavor to a blend is to drink the flavor while you're smoking the blend.
That's brilliant. I think that's great. That way it's just all, you don't have to wait any time at all.
Right on.
And your flavor can change with each puff. Let's see.
And Russ Hicks also chimes in saying definitely Zeppelin.
I mean, yeah. Let's see.
We'll do one more.
Kent Mosher, he also said, I poured it into a 9x9 glass baking pan, set a mason jar lid ring in the center, and set a wet sponge on the ring. So almost like an elevated wet sponge among the rest of the tobacco, and then you've got it covered in some kind of saran wrap or something to keep the moisture in there. And that way, I like that idea. I think that way you're not giving the tobacco a direct contact with the moisture, but it's still, kind of allowing itself to, evaporate through there. So, yeah.
Great. Well, hey, great feedback, from all of you, both the podcast listeners and those of you tuning in for the live show. We always love getting that. Especially love those iTunes reviews. If you haven't done so already, head over to iTunes, write us a review. We love getting that kind of feedback. You don't have to be a poet. You can just give us 5 stars and say it's good. We're cool with that.
But if you are a poet, that's bonus point.
Hey, if you're a poet and you know it, then go for it. Why not? We also love for you to tune in through the Satchel podcast player. For those of you on an Android device, we definitely recommend heading over to the Google Play Store, downloading Satchel, and joining the beta, giving us feedback on what you think of that experience. Satchelplayer.com to find links for that. If you have an iPhone and you want to be part of the beta test, you can actually submit to get an invite. We actually have an invite going out at the very tail end of this week, or a new version going out.
Okay.
Yeah. We actually had a meeting about that earlier today, so I'm excited to get that in people's hands.
That's great.
Yep. So do that. Satchelplayer.com, again, is the place to find that. And, we also want to encourage you, if you have the opportunity on Monday nights to tune in live, we encourage you to do that. We broadcast live every single Monday night. That's 6:30 p.m. Central Time. Do you want me to do the new time, actually? It's going to let me just stick with the way that we do it.
What?
I already do everything dyslexic-wise anyway, so.
Yeah, let's just do it. Just keep it up.
Yeah, just keep it up. Just keep it up the way it is. 6:30 Pacific Central Time. Nope. Sorry, folks.
Dude, I'm laughing, but like I couldn't do it. Like, I mean, go ahead. But
I got to get back into it. Got to get there. All right. Be sure to tune in live every single Monday night where we broadcast the show. CountrySquireRadio.com. That's 6:30 Central. 4:30 Pacific, 7:30 Eastern. That's where we want you to be at CountrySquireRadio.com. Tune in live. Be part of the conversation too. You can actually tweet into us at Squire Radio, or you can follow us during the weeks or during the days that we're not live. You can follow me at The Real Bo York.
I'm at John David Cole, or you can get us at the shop at @_Country Squire.
Of course, all the contact information for that, our Facebook and more, can be found at CountrySquireRadio.com.
Yeah, man.
How about that?
I had fun tonight. This was great.
This was a great show.
And I just, as I was sitting here talking and my match is burning profusely, I've thought of multiple jars of tobacco that I think I'm going to go home and give some attention to.
Man,
and maybe I'll try a bunch of different kinds. I might have a reason to go buy a potato tonight.
Man, it'd be awesome. Actually, the fruit thing in particular, I'm curious to know what feedback we get from listeners and hopefully taking some pictures if some of y'all have done that, because I'm curious.
I always buy Orlick in pairs anyway.
Yeah.
I always do that. I always buy, every time I buy Orlick, I buy 2 cans. I buy one to smoke immediately and then one to put back.
Yep.
I don't know why. It's just a habit that I have. And so I don't know, next time I do that, I might throw a little orange peel.
Man, I tell you what, let's do it. Let's review it, man. That'd be great.
Okay.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's go have a night.
See you, brother.
Thanks, guys, for tuning in. I know that for the YouTube channel, everything has been a bit blurry for the last 2 episodes. Hopefully, I'll have a situation all worked out so that next week will be a little bit better. You'll see us more clearly. I don't know why you want to see our faces more clearly. It does not improve the experience.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, if we do that, does that mean we have to like pay for folks like eye surgery?
We cannot be held
macular degeneration and all that stuff.
We cannot be held responsible. But one way or the other, hopefully we'll have a clearer situation in the future. But until next time, guys.
Thanks for tuning in, y'all. See ya.